Welcome to GRD131, Graphic Design 1, and I'm just going to review our type category quiz, which people struggled with a little bit, and that's okay because type categories can be confusing. There's a lot of gray areas and some crossover and some things that are confusing, and obviously it confused some people, so I just want to point some things out as I go through this. And I'll just go through the quiz myself and just point out some things on what I would choose. Now, the first one, the Brother logo here, which I just took off a copier that we have here, a scanner copier thing. And you might look at this and say, well, that's sans serif. And it is. If you look at the E, you look at the H, it's definitely a sans serif font. But if you look at the T and you look at the R and look at the B, it's very unique. It's very almost stylized. So when you see something stylized, even though you could say, oh, well, it's sans serif, it typically means it's more of a display font. You wouldn't see this in body copy. And that's one way to kind of differentiate something from being sans serif and being display, is you wouldn't see this in body copy. You wouldn't see a lot of body copy using this type of font, you know, just like the Dunkin' Donuts font. You wouldn't see in a lot of body copy. So this would be decorative display. That's what I would choose for that. Now, if you said sans serif, I guess I could say, well, it is a sans serif font, but in this case, if it can't be used for body copy, I would say it's decorative or display font. And that means you'll typically see it in a logo, in a headline, and you would not see it in any body copy. But again, you're not seeing the whole perspective, so I understand that it's a little bit harder. Here's just butter. Now, this is just straight sans serif. You're not seeing anything else. It's not stylized. Could you see this font in body copy? Yes, probably in upper lowercase, so that would just be a pretty straight sans serif. Now, if you said, well, it's decorative because I couldn't see body copy in that, you know, that's kind of a gray area too. There probably is a lighter version of this font that could be used in some body copy. There's nothing stylized about it. So if there's something stylized about it, then it's typically decorative. Or if it's like way too bold, then you can ever use in body copy. But this would be pretty straight a sans serif. It's a little more on the condensed side, but it's a sans serif, so that's what I choose for this one. And for this one here, that would be pretty much a straight script. And I would always go for the category first. In this case, you know, we look at it, it's a script. It has connected lettering. It's kind of a hand-done kind of thing. Now, is it being used in a decorative way? Yes, but it's a script font. So I know these kind of go both ways, but I would at first just identify this in the script category. If I had to go look up the font, this would be in the script category. It would not be in a decorative category, even though script fonts can be used in a decorative manner. Let me just point that out, which I know is kind of confusing. Chessman, this confused people a little bit. I tried to find something that was just a regular serif font. Now it's in italic because it has the little curls here. So this isn't necessarily decorative, even though it does have a C that goes under here, but it's, for the most part, is pretty straight ahead serif is what I was trying to get from there. And I think I even gave a hint that it's an italic style of the typeface, which typically serif has an italic style. Not many other styles have an italic, so there wouldn't be a script italic or anything. And typically the serifs turn into these little curls at the end. So I was going for serif for that particular one for the Chessman. This one is a pretty straight sans serif. Now it is bold, and it does have the regular straight A without the Fred Flintstone hood of the car or the double level of the A on it. So this is a pretty straight sans serif for Cinnamon. And this looks like a pretty straight script font that I'd say for this one. Now again, is it used in a decorative manner? Possibly, but if you look at this font, think of if you had to go search for the font on a font site, what category would it be in? And this would be in script. Now, can it be used as a logo? Yes. But can it also be used on a wedding invitation? Probably. You could probably have a wedding invitation with this, and I think I have seen it. And this should be pretty straight serif. I mean, there's nothing that it should be anything else. Now, it's used in a small caps kind of way here. You can see the X and everything after that, after the capital letters, but it's pretty much a straight serif. I wouldn't even think it's slab or anything like that. That's pretty much straight serif font in all caps that it's using there. So again, is it being used for a label? Yes, but in categories of fonts, where would you find this? I'd find this in serif. And for number 8, gluten-free, I would just kind of go with script here. Because again, it looks like a script font. It looks kind of hand-done. They're almost connecting. It has that brush script kind of look. Now, is it being used in a decorative manner? Yeah, I guess it is. But again, if you had to look up this font in its category, it would be in a script category. So that's where I'd go with this. This font for number 9, I was going with slab. That's what I was trying to identify on this can of corn. Now, because it's stretched out here, because it was a can, perhaps you thought maybe it was decorative or there was something kind of very unique or stylized going on about the font, but I was really going for this. It was pretty much a standard slab serif, a little bit rounded, almost like typewriter type. But I was going for slab for that. I could see how you might get confused by the way it's distorted, thinking it's some kind of decorative type font, but I was really just looking for slab serif there. This one, just looking for script, even though it's used in a decorative manner. If you had to look it up, you'd look up this font in the script category. So that would be script. This is a script font based on its letter forms, based on the way it's created. So I would say that's script. This one, again, like the brother that we had on the first one, it would be the same kind of thing. Yes, you could say it's sans serif, but it has S's that look like Z's. It has these kind of arches here on the M's. It's not something that you would typically see in body copy, so I would say that's decorative. So I would throw that in decorative, saying that I wouldn't see it in any kind of body copy. I couldn't put it in any other category. I wouldn't say it's sans serif because it's not a traditional sans serif that would have a regular, a bold, maybe an italic or something like that. It's really kind of very stylized. So if it's very stylized, I throw it in a decorative display category. Potato rolls, this is pretty much straight sans serif, even though it's in all caps. I wouldn't go with anything else. Again, it's not stylized in any way, so I'd keep it in the sans serif. And this one, roasted, this is just like the corn one. Matter of fact, it almost looks the same. This is meant to be slab serif in this one. But again, because I took a picture of a can, it looks a little distorted and arched. Maybe you thought decorative display. I get that. But I was going for slab serif there based on these big, fat, slabby kind of serifs that are here. And again, I apologize for the distorted. I like to grab logos that are out in the wild instead of just finding them online. So I like to take pictures of things. This, I'd just be going with a script here. It's just a kind of a casual script, letters connect. That's all I'd be going with there. Now, is it being used decoratively? Well, of course it is. Script is primarily used decoratively, but in the category of font and the way the font would be categorized, that would be a script font. And this one for woodshop, no one should have gotten this one wrong because there's no font that's created out of logs or anything like that. So this would definitely have to be decorative display. I don't even know if this is a real font or not, unless this was actually built. But this could be a font somewhere from some foundry somewhere that has something that looks like wood. And again, that's what I got for this. I got decorative for brother because it's stylized. I got just sans serif for this butter here because there's nothing stylized about it. It's a sans serif font. This is a script font based on the lettering. This is a serif font based on, it's an italic version of a serif font based on the little serifs you see up there, and they kind of curl up, which most serif fonts do when they're in italic style. This is a basic sans serif. This would be script based on the lettering, especially with the decorative D. Remember, script fonts a lot of times will have a decorative first letter. That's why we don't use them in all caps. This one, pretty much straight serif. This one, script, very casual kind of script, a brushy kind of script. This one, I was going for slab serif, kind of hard to see, but it's a slab serif. This one is a script, again, based on its style and the letter forms, and it connects. This one is decorative based on the stylizing of it. It can't really be used for body copy or anything like that. It's very kind of special for this kind of use. You wouldn't see this in anything else. You wouldn't see this on a stop sign or anything like that. So this would be pretty much decorative. This is straight sans serif, nothing special there. It does have outlines. You know, it does have strokes and fills and things like that, but it's pretty much straight sans serif. And again, just like the other one, this is slab, this is script, and this would have to be decorative. So hope that helps a little bit. I know it created some confusion, but we'll reinforce that a little bit more as we continue to work in Graphic Design 1.